on the call, if you could just mute for the time being, we'll dive in.
Done.
So what we're here for is about simplifying a launch. I'm going to share 7 essential tech tools to help power an online launch. And we'll get into what is an online launch, why it's important, and the various tools to help you do that. I will be speaking from the tools from my experience. A big challenge that I think that's out there is like we're not short of information, content, tactics out there. If you Google anything related to marketing, I wish you all the best because it is a deep rabbit hole with lots of people sharing links that are affiliate commission related. So you don't really know what actually works and where it's coming from when people share their tips and resources. So what I'll be sharing here are tips from practical examples and real launches that I've done through the filter of keeping things simple. And the tools that I'll be sharing, I've got various levels of complexity and fancy pantsness. So I'll be sharing what I think is the most simple first, and then alternatives if you want to kind of dial up the not necessarily complexity, but sometimes the results that you can get. So I'll be diving in and showing you how to do that. So first of all, what is a launch? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Just type it into the chat, just a couple of words. Like, what do you think we're talking about, or what comes to mind when you think launching? Like, what are we launching? Why launch? Why isn't it called just selling? Just type it in the chat. What is it all about when it comes to launching? Cue hold music. What are we talking about here? Brooke, a short, sharp promotion with a deadline. Trent is kickoff meeting with a new client. So it could be launching some new campaign, getting understanding their business goals and how you can help them. Totally. That's from the agency perspective. Absolutely. From a service-based business, different ways that you could be launching would be kicking off a project, as Trent was saying, but it would also be bringing something new into the marketplace. Katja says, making the audience that you are targeting aware of your presence and services and how to reach you. Online, of course. Yeah, totally. It can be offline. Some people have offline launch events, online launch events, various ways to build your audience and make your launch successful. So launch is revealing a new product or service to the market using a planned marketing campaign to create excitement, anticipation, and sales during a set time frame. I think Brooke probably got that in less words, but that's a launch, a summary of what a launch is. And if you were to just present something to sell it without having a planned marketing campaign, you are less likely to have success. So the reason to create a launch is to make it more likely that what you're launching is going to actually be successful. Every now and then someone new might enter as they receive the email. So welcome, Kirsten. Just going through this. So if you could just stay muted for the moment, that would be amazing. Just going through what a launch is. And why launch? Why is it important to launch something? So a reason to launch something is to create a new revenue stream. If you're a service-based business or even a product-based business, launching something is a way to generate new revenue. It's also a way to create an offer that can scale. The lens of launching through which I'll be speaking through is about launching a premium group program. So that's something to keep in mind as we go through this. So something that is scalable. It's around testing different offers that can work. You might be a service-based business where your business is completely at capacity and wanting to launch something with a bit more leverage and a bit more scalability so that you can do what's in the next step is divorcing your time from income. Many launches are experiments with how you can get this mix of a bit of a formula right in terms of the offer, the audience, and the ability to scale. So these are reasons to launch. Another big reason is that it's a massive opportunity to learn. You learn a ton. Many people launch something for the first time and it's not successful, and they don't really learn because they don't try again. They don't take what they've learned from the first one, which you could see as a failure, and use that to launch again with everything that they've learned and make the next one a success. It's kind of unlikely that you're going to make it completely successful on the first one, but getting into the habit of launching makes it so much easier to be successful on the next one. I was on a coaching call yesterday, and we were talking about you're either succeeding or you're learning. There's not really a failure, especially when it comes to launches. We're just trying stuff. There's nothing really guaranteed on the internet. Brooks saying she's had so many shit launches, they get better. Absolutely. One of the first launches that I did, I think Brooke actually was one of it. Yeah, Brooke, you were one of my customers with the first launch with the funnel shop. We were the day before we launched, I was talking to my business partner around how we're going to handle all the support, all of the sales that we're going to get. I was heading overseas. I was like, oh, what are we going to do? We don't have enough support time. If something breaks, who's going to fix this? Like, who are we going to hire to help us out with this? I sent out the emails, did the launch. I flew overseas, landed, checked the emails, zero sales, absolutely nothing, few clicks, nothing really going on. And we were just laughing to each other because we were like, I can't believe that our expectations of this and the reality are totally different things. We really didn't have like a marketing campaign ahead of time. We just presented this thing that we built and really didn't build up the hype or anything like that. So sales drip fed over some time, but if we didn't launch again, it would have been a success. If we just put our tails between our legs and went back into the cave from whence we came, we wouldn't have been able to repeat, improve, and grow something that was relatively successful. Brooke says, "Yes, I love your Photoshop templates. Totally." Trent might be jumping off soon. Totally fine, man. The problem when it comes, especially to the tech with launches, is that there are just too many choices. There are so many different tools that you could use. Which is the right one to deliver? Which community do you go with? Is it Facebook groups? Is it Mighty Networks? Is it Circle? Is it this new fandangled thing that everyone's promoting at the moment? Also, you might not see yourself as a tech person, which is a bit of a tricky one because if you don't see yourself as that, it's very hard to start using something that you don't think you're good at before you've even tried. So that can be a bit of an issue. And that kind of leads to the next one is thinking that it's all too complicated. Many marketers, I think, especially technical marketers, love working in this space. And when they're sharing various ways to launch, they can make it seem super complex, but it really isn't as complex as you might think. So I want to share with you the tools to help to keep it a bit simple. Keeping it simple, making it fun for you when it comes to launches, because if it's not fun, it's highly unlikely you're going to do it again. So it's got to be fun and ideally make some good money. There is a bit of a myth that there's some kind of perfect tool that handles everything. I'm still searching for it. Many of my clients are still searching for it. I'm not sure if you've been down that rabbit hole before, but going from one tool to the other, or if you've been in a program or a network where they're like, we were using this and now we're migrating everyone to this. Oh, forget that. We're moving over to this thing now. They're in the search for that efficiency. And sometimes you lose that efficiency by changing tools. There is a myth that there is a perfect tool. The perfect tool is the one you commit to and you actually launch with. So, bit of an agenda for today. We've gone through why launch and I have a question for you very shortly. We'll go over the simple tools and alternatives. I'll show you some of the common mistakes to avoid, and then we'll go into a bit of Q&A if we've got time, but I've used a lot of that with the initial getting access here, so I'll keep it nice and short for you, and we'll stick to the time. So we've got 29 minutes left, and then I'll give you a couple of next steps. But first of all, what do you want to launch and why? What program do you have? Then just type this into the chat. Do you have a particular program in mind? Are you just here because you're curious? And why is it important for you to launch? You're launching a course, you're launching a program, and you're just relaunching something that you've already got. So Kirsten says, fertility program. Awesome. Alicia, a strong recruitment funnel and webinar. Awesome. Brooke, many programs, courses, on-demand trainings. Brilliant. Kirsten, helping a client launch a coaching program. Yeah, fantastic. Kacha, letting go of emotional and physical pain program. Yeah, beautiful. It is really important to also ground yourself in why this is important to you, to the people that you're serving, and how this is going to benefit everyone involved. Because if you have a strong enough why, if it's compelling enough, and you've got the resistance that comes with a launch, where it could be the tech is a bit too complicated, you're a bit unsure, this isn't working the way you want it to, that compelling why will drive you through the complicated how-to bits. So that's just a little bit of a pro tip, but having a compelling why will help to power you through those troublesome moments that can come up when the launch isn't going to plan, or you send out a Zoom link without the passcode and everyone doesn't join until 18 minutes later, and you might have missed a bunch of people. You have a compelling why, and you can stick to the plan and just keep moving. Kirsten says, fertility is my jam. I absolutely know this. Kirsten is called the baby maker. I'm sure there's other words, but was how I was first introduced to Kirsten. Kirsten can teach anyone how to have a baby and what is stopping them getting pregnant. That is freaking amazing. Definitely check out Kirsten Wolf's content and stuff. She's incredible. All right, so now we're going to dive into the content. So into the tools, the 7 essential tech tools to power your online launch. The first one, and first of all, you might be thinking, some of these tools like, this is easy. Like, this is super basic. I don't need this stuff. But it's how you use it that's most important. Or some of them you might be thinking, wow, this is overly complex. And if you are thinking it's complex, please feel free to put in the chat, like, I don't really get how to use it. I tried it and it didn't work. It's really all about how you use these tools. You don't have to use them to the nth degree to complete perfection. It's just about minimum viable to get you the result that you need. With that, we'll jump in. First of all, first tool is Google Docs. Super simple. So this one is an example of a program outline that Brooke and I were putting together recently. You can see that on the right there. Google Docs we use for launch planning, email copywriting. So if I'm writing emails for a client's launch, I recently launched a program called the Business Systems Accelerator, all about business systems, with someone that Alicia would know, Dave Jennings, or maybe that's a bit before your time with the current team. But anyway, we'd write the emails within Google Docs because we can collaborate on them really easily. And there's just not a lot of fancy stuff you can do with Google Docs. It keeps it simple. It's a word processor. You don't have to email a file back and forth. It's just live document. You just get to work writing, and then you can move that into your email system. It just keeps it super simple. So use it for launch planning, email copywriting, collaborating, even creating a lead magnet. So this is a downloadable resource. You can just create that in Google Docs, share that, and then that's something you can use to add value to your audience. If you're not sure what a lead magnet is, I'm more than happy to answer any questions toward the end. Also, you can create a workbook in Google Docs. Just simple image at the top and then put your workbook instructions below. I've done this many, many times to great success with many workbooks I've had for over 6, 8 years that I still share with my clients and use in my digital marketing business. Welcome, Claire. We're just going through the content. Thank you for finding the link and the passcode. Apologies, that was a multi-step process. More painful for you than I'm sure it was for me, but thank you for joining. Also, Google Docs is great for setting up simple sales pages. So where programs and anything you're selling needs some kind of sales page, you can create your sales page just in Google Docs with a link to buy. I've worked on multiple five-figure launches that the sales page was just a Google document with the content, and that's it, and a link to buy. And then we just emailed that out to the audience, and that was our way to get the beta signups, the audience building before building out a better sales page down the track. Some alternatives, although I wouldn't recommend, but they're here anyway. Microsoft Word. I don't like it because you've got to email things back and forth. I don't really, yes, Alicia definitely will be available after the webinar. And then there's another tool called Craft that I'm really enjoying at the moment. It's just like a bit of a fancier Google Docs. It doesn't quite have the collaborative aspects of it, but it just takes the content you could make in Google Docs and just makes it a little bit nicer. And it's got some of the AI writing built into it. But keep it simple, just use Google Docs. Next tool, Notion. I freaking love Notion. It's amazing. Again, it's something that get super complicated depending on how you use it. So I'll just share some of the ways that I use it. With all of these tools, I really like to start with pre-made templates. Like I'll build something really simple to start with, and then I'll clone it, and then I'll get to work. One of my early mentors, Charlie Vella, who's younger than me. I don't know if that, it's like he's been on this planet before. Super smart dude, Charlie Vella. He talks about this idea of framework before work, and I really like that. So Notion is awesome for this. Use it for launch planning. So the launch that I just mentioned before for the Business Systems Accelerator, this is what we used for that, just in terms of planning the overall timeline that I could share with their team and their leadership team so they could just see what's going on and when is it going to happen. This made it super easy to put that together. It took me about 50 minutes to make this, if that. So organizing a timeline, it's really good for that. And I'm enjoying it as a bit of an alternative to Google Docs in terms of creating email copy. I quite like writing in Notion because my version of it also has the Open AI um, tool in there to help with a bit of writing. So I find it awesome. In terms of planning, alternatives, some kind of spreadsheet, nice and simple when it comes to planning. You just need to know the overall stages of your launch and when they're going to happen. So an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets is ideal for this as well. Next tool, Canva, which I've created this presentation in. So great for graphic design, creating webinar slides like you're looking at right now, also creating lead magnets. Again, it can get a bit complicated because there are so many things that the tool can use. I think that's a big myth when it comes to tools is like looking at the features and going, oh, wow, this can do so much, when that actually is the enemy of simplicity. Constraints help simplify. Sometimes the less a tool can use, the easier, the less a tool can do, the easier it is to use because you're just constrained. You literally just can't do stuff with it, which can make it so much easier to just get to work. So lead magnets, workbooks, Canva is awesome for creating workbooks. Couple of alternatives, Figma, Photoshop, or hiring graphic designer. A design team that I use and really like are called Deer Designer, DEER Designer. They're awesome. It's about $1,000 a month, a little bit less than $1,000 a month, and you get unlimited designs. They only work on one at a time, but they're awesome if you're looking to partner with someone to just get the designs done for you. If you do go down that path, let them know that Simon Kelly sent you, and that may help or it may do nothing at all. But I know the owner, Diego, and he's awesome. Next tool, MailerLite. Now, I actually don't use this, but I will share with you why in a moment. MailerLite is an email marketing tool. It's really, really easy to use, and it can't do a huge amount, which, as I was saying before, is actually a perk. It's pretty powerful. It doesn't have the automations of the tools that I like to use, which is ActiveCampaign for email marketing, but its user experience, the interface just makes a lot more sense if you're not someone who's familiar with email marketing or automation or the tech side of things. As someone who quite enjoys the tech and learning how to use these tools, I will suffer through complicated UI in order to get a result and to create some kind of automations. But if you're not that way inclined, MailerLite is awesome. You can use it for opt-in forms. So sharing a form online in social media and saying, sign up to my list in exchange for this resource. It's great for managing your list, great for sending email campaigns, and it also has simple landing pages built into it as well, where you can just have a headline, a bit of information, and then opt in. So it's pretty cool in that way. Alternative, and the tool that I like to use for email is ActiveCampaign. It's about $9 a month, and then ConvertKit is about $50 a month and much prettier and also easy to use. That would be if you are generating revenue from your email list consistently, that's when you're likely to get more of a return on investment using something like ConvertKit. And then on the landing page side of things, although this is an email marketing tool, WordPress plus Elementor is what I recommend for landing pages. Alicia. So Alicia says, how does this compare with the likes of MailChimp? Um, this is just my personal preference, but with MailChimp, I think that they dropped the ball a couple of years ago, and I just abandoned them completely and kind of haven't looked back. So I see I'm not seeing it as powerful of a tool. They just keep trying to do everything, and I don't think they do a particularly good job of managing groups and lists and keeping those organized. So I think they've improved a bit recently, but I just have abandoned them personally. If it can collect emails and send emails, you're good. Brooke's saying MailChimp too hard to use. Yeah, it's not complicated, but the user interface is poo-poo, which is correct. But also, as I said at the very, very beginning, some of you might have missed that part, the best tool is the one you're using to get the result. Changing tools can just be super painful. So if you're not hitting any hard barriers with the tool you're using, fall in love with the tool that you've already got and learn how to use it. Just keep it nice and simple. Next tool, absolutely love this and probably use it multiple times per day, is called Loom. It's fantastic for creating videos. It transcribes videos. I was creating a system yesterday for my weekly newsletter called Marketing Monday that I've just kicked off. I was creating a system so that I can get some help with putting it together. I recorded myself doing it, put that into Loom, which is actually this here, 23 minutes. Recorded myself doing it, put it into Loom. It transcribes it. I took that transcription, pasted it into ChatGPT, asked it to create a SOP for it, and it did that. And it was about 7 steps, made it super simple. I didn't give it any other instructions. It's crazy the stuff that tools can do now that used to require people or complicated steps, but it's just insane how fast things are moving. But anyway, sticking with Loom, amazing for quick videos. You just want to shoot a quick video. You don't have to have hair and makeup super perfect because you're just a little circle in the bottom of the screen and you can screen share. So you can send engaging videos to people on your list. You can create small training videos, little how-tos, little social media posts. It's great for engaging with your audience and for teaching. I don't really have an alternative for this one. Way, way, way back, I used to use something called Screencast-O-Matic, which is a horrible name for a tool, but it was like $100 a year or less than that, and it was really easy to use. But Loom is just insanely easy. It's about $10 a month, and it's awesome. SOP, standard operating procedure. Exactly. Kirsten says, I can't seem to get Loom to record over a keynote. Is this a me thing? Record over a keynote. Interesting. So if I was using the Keynote app, like the Keynote tool, whatever, software, and then Loom was there, I think it's when you go into full screen mode and it takes over the whole screen is when that's not going to work for you, Kirsten. I think that's how it works. So if you just make your window the size of the window manually instead of going full screen, I think that's where that's a Keynote thing more than a you thing, as far as I'm aware. But I can shoot you Loom about how to do that. if you like. Awesome. Next one. Bonjoro. Now, this is simple, like it's a really, really simple tool, but this is kind of like an advanced tactic, I suppose. I just think this is like, it's just an amazing and quick win. Kind of similar to Loom in this way, but just it keeps things super simple and engaging with the audience. As it says on the tin here, um, convert more customers with personal videos. So I have it set up that if someone puts a project through my project form and they're not already an existing client, it will send it into Bonjoro and Bonjoro will say, hey, just create a quick personalized video and send it to this contact who's new. So it was like 2 steps to connect these things together. So you can set it up so if someone joins your list, it'll automatically send to Bonjoro, and then you can send a quick like, hey, thanks so much for joining. This is what I'm launching at the moment. I'd love to know a little bit about you. Just hit reply. Love to know whereabouts in the world you are. Even if someone doesn't reply, it's such a super engaging personal touch that you can have with your audience. So I could have set this up so that if someone registered for the webinar, could have sent Bonjoro to them. You can do it so each one is individual, or you can have a pre-made welcome video that just sends to everyone. Also, if someone was to join your program, that's a great first step to reaffirm the decision to buy from you by sending a quick video like welcome you on board. Thanks so much for purchasing leverage program to help you scale a premium group program. It's awesome that you're here. My name's Simon. I'm going to be your coach throughout this process. Love to know uh, where you're from, what it is you're hoping to launch. I can't wait to see you on the first call. Like that kind of experience, just so personalized and just takes your launches and your programs to a whole other level. Alternatively, you can do it manually. Brooke says it is free. I actually thought, no, yeah, totally. It is free, and there's like a certain amount that you can send per month before you have to pay, but I think it's quite generous. It's like up to 50 or something like that, so it's pretty good. Yeah, Brooke doesn't pay anyway. Exactly. Awesome. The next one, I want to get into the delivery side of things. Now, there might be some contention here. And when I say delivery, it's how do you deliver your program and where do you deliver it? I think Facebook groups at the moment is the simplest tool for delivering a course. Lots of people use Facebook. There's a community aspect of it baked in. The downside is it's Facebook and there's just so much noise. It is insane. I think there's a bit of a Facebook exodus that's been going on for quite some time. So potentially there'll be some resistance there. There, in my opinion, there isn't a perfect tool for community plus delivery, but I think Facebook groups does a really good job of keeping it simple when it comes to being free, putting your courses into a group, and having some level of community engagement. Again, there's just not that much it can do in terms of putting a course within a group, which is fantastic for keeping it simple. So I've got a screenshot here for one of the courses that I'm a part of called the Course Creators Blueprint. And you can kind of see within here, the course modules are called guides. And then each video is a lesson, kind of like a Facebook post where you can have a video and a bit of text and some links. And that's pretty much it that you can have in there. So when your students are going through, they can tick things off, they can view the content, and they can leave a comment, which is super helpful. And they can also track progress. As you can see here, I have not completed this course. Alternatives, Circle. Circle is super hot right now. It is like the new Facebook, perhaps. It's just that it doesn't have the noise of everything else. It is your own private community. There's a huge amount of funding that's going into it. They're releasing new features and new community um, tools all the time. It's getting better and better. It's about, I think, 49 US per month, up to, I don't know, 200 or something like that. Some automation tools. Lots of coaches and communities are moving over to Circle. So I'm seeing that as a trend that's happening at the moment. And it is really easy to use if you can set it up in a simple way. The course aspect of it is super simple, and I really like the way they put that together. The community side, community is a tricky one. It can be very, very noisy when you've got lots of people. So I think go with your strengths. If you're not a community manager, try to keep the community side as simple as possible. And then another one that doesn't have the community side of it, and it's WordPress based, is called LearnDash. It's quite simple to use. It looks like the tool like Teachable, but it keeps it within your own website. So there are some perks there to using LearnDash if you already have a website and you're already using WordPress. Also, that's something that Brooke uses, and Alicia at Taking Care Mobile Massage also uses. Awesome. Couple of bonuses. So they are the 7 tech tools. There are lots of tools out there, but if you just pick one out of each category of audience building and your email list and delivery, then you'll be fine to keep it nice and simple. But a couple of bonus tools. One, Calendly. Now, this is part of the sales process. So when it comes to launching and you're getting people engaging with your list, being able to book in a call with them and have a chat and learn about them, learn about their challenges, learn about what they're trying to do. Calendly just simplifies the whole process. Like, when are you available? Can you meet at this time? How should we meet? Where should we meet? What are we going to do? Do you use Skype? Calendly just means you can send them a link and they can book in a call, keeping it super, super simple. I've actually have it connected to my domain. So if you go to callsimonkelly.com, It'll redirect you to Calendly, and then you can pick a thing and book in a call. Welcome to do that if you're up for a chat. The other tool that I can't not talk about is ChatGPT. It's just integrated in so many things at the moment. Well, the open AI side of it is integrated. If you're not using this, I highly recommend getting acquainted with it. It may not be producing what's you may see as perfect at the moment, but it is something that's just going to be part of marketing and launches and everything into the future. So I highly recommend having it as part of your toolkit and developing your own way of using the tool because it's just going to be something that everyone's going to be using. Considering putting together some resources around ChatGPT, the various prompts that I use with launches and with my clients in digital marketing, and from the other people I know in the digital marketing space who are using it. So if you are interested in that, watch this space or let me know, and I'll see what I can put together. Any other AI recommendations? ChatGPT has a playground. So if you Google OpenAI playground, instead of going to the chat interface, it just has a big window, and I just find that easier to type within. Also, Notion, I really like Notion's AI. It's all based on, well, from my understanding, it's all based on OpenAI's backend. They're just all connecting to the what powers ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. They're all connecting to it. So Notion, and then the other one I mentioned was Craft, as an alternative to Google Docs, also has this AI writing built in. There are also AI image creating tools, but I'm not going to go into those ones. And Canva has some, as I was putting together this presentation, I clicked on presentation in Canva and it was like, tell us what your presentation's about and we'll build it for you. I was like, stop it. So I wrote a couple of words and it built out like 10 slides for this presentation. It was like fine, but it didn't make this. That would be amazing if it made all of this stuff. Yeah, no way. It's crazy. Have a play with it. It's these things that like they may not be good now, but they're just getting better and better, all this AI stuff. So pick your tools. Don't chop and change between things. I think ChatGPT is the one to spend the most time and energy learning because it's just going to be integrated into everything else. Pro tip, kind of alluded to this towards the beginning. I love starting with some kind of framework first. So some kind of quick start template. So with these slides, I had some kind of template to get started with. So I can create and clone slides. When it comes to launches, I have a Google Doc that has a ton of emails. And as I was working with Brooke on a previous launch that Brooke did, Brooke was, I'm just going to say, amazed at, I would pull into my toolkit and just be like, here is a template for abandoned cart emails. Like that's good to go. We just have to customize that to suit your particular launch. So I like to building some kind of minimum viable, like a 50% solution before I get started customizing. Abandoned cart emails just to make Brooke $3,000. So there you go. That's awesome. I'm going to screenshot that for testimonial. Awesome. Bit of a rookie mistake here, and this just comes with launching overall. I think Kirsten and Claire and Brooke could probably attest to this, is building the thing, building the course, getting it all perfect, building your program, getting everything perfect behind the scenes, and getting it just right before even validating that anyone cares. What if no one gives a shit about it? What if no one's going to buy? Wouldn't you want to know that as soon as possible? Like it might be painful and it might suck that your angle and your idea and your pitch isn't quite landing, but you want to know that before you build the whole thing, that then you'll be like, oh, it's not selling. That's a shame. Try to work on the front side of things, like validate, build your audience. It's this lean startup methodology. We want to have the minimum viable to validate that things are going to work before we build anything. Kirsten says, sell before you build. And Kirsten is amazing at this. And so is Claire, and so is Brooke. And so is one of my coaches, Troy. And yeah, it's a totally different way of doing things. It might make sense me speaking it now, but if you are launching something, if you're building something, just notice how you're like, oh, I've got to get the tech right, and I've got to make sure I've mapped out all of my program and what my audience is going to do at every single step of the process. It's kind of a way of procrastinating, but it feels like you're making progress. You really need to put your offer out there, get feedback, getting people putting their hand up and saying, this sounds awesome, I'm in, Where can I send the dollars? You want people to be doing that. That means you're progressing. That means you're on the way. Claire says the only thing to build beforehand is your vision of your offering. I think that's amazing. Absolutely a pro tip. People aren't opting into your vision. It's going to be very hard for all the rest of the stuff behind the scenes to mean anything. So the next steps for you. One, share what it is that you're doing. Share your launch. You can share it here in the chat, but we may not be your target audience. Share that socially, share it with email, share it organically, face to face with people. Start practicing what you're talking about, and you'll be able to refine your pitch organically. Next, build your tech stack. What is it? What are the simple tools you're going to use? If nothing else, you could probably do an entire launch just with like social media and Google Docs, because it can do pretty much everything that you need, and a Stripe payment link. And then I think you're pretty good. And then the third thing, of course, Brooke and I are putting together a launch at the moment. This is part of it, is sharing this content. We're sharing lots of valuable content. Brooke's already put together, I think, 2 other teaching webinars. I've got some more launch planning resources to share, and also the templates that I mentioned that I've got in Google Docs. You can click the link that Brooke has just put in the chat. We're going to be sharing more stuff as we launch over the next couple of weeks. Love for you to join the list. We'll be sharing various things separately and together, and just teaching all the things we know about launches as we put together our program as well. With 1 minute left, thank you for hanging in there, and especially at the very, very beginning. If you have any questions at all that I haven't already answered, please put them into the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself if you have something, and you can fire away. And if you've got any pro tips, like Brooke and Claire and Kirsten were sharing some tips from their experience with launching, please do share. It's always good to hear from experience other than just theory.
Simon, I have a quick question.
Yeah, sure, Alicia.
So with Loom, you said that it transcribes and then you use that to do the SOPs. So I'm currently doing systems with System Hub. So can I use Loom and then film the videos in that, and then use, like, can you download the videos from Loom to put into System Hub?
Yeah, so Loom you can just embed straight into System Hub. So
Okay.
in Loom, it'll say something along the lines of share this video. You can just have a link to the video, but there's also near the link, there'll be like embed this video on a web page. You can then copy that, put it into System Hub, which for everyone else is a tool for sharing systems with teams and building out your systems. You can put that straight into the system. It'll have that, and you can click play, and it'll be in there.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
And I'll just go into ChatGPT and find the prompt that I used yesterday for getting the transcription, because it was like it works so well. Marketing Monday. Like I just copied and pasted the entire transcription with the timestamps, and ChatGPT turned it into a step-by-step SOP. I think, yeah, it was something as simple as turn the below transcript into a step-by-step SOP. And then I just pasted the entire transcription below that in ChatGPT, which was like 20 minutes of content that I had no idea was even in steps. And then ChatGPT came up with 7 steps with like colons and formatting. So it looked quite nice. Something you could just copy and paste straight into System Hub.
Oh, that is amazing. That is so helpful. Thank you so much.
Insane. Yeah, don't tell
Insane.
Dave, because that's like his entire documentation team. We'll probably do a much better job, and they'll do a much more thorough job, but this is just like the interim step.
No, it's very helpful. Thank you.
My pleasure. Awesome. All right. If there are any other questions, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time because we've gone over, totally my fault. Feel free to send me an email, simon@renegade-empire. If you have any questions at all about this, I'll send the recording, sans the beginning and the fumbling, and I'll send the slides as well. So you will get a copy of those, and also resources as we're building related to launches. So please let me know If you have any pro tips around launches, any questions, anything you're struggling with, be more than happy to help. Awesome. Thank you for everyone. You're amazing. Thanks so much for joining. Have a fantastic day. Looking forward to hearing about your launches as you go, and you're sharing things on social media, and you're asking lots of questions and building an audience before you're ready.
Thank you very much, Simon. That was great.
Pleasure. Cheers, Trent. Cheers, everyone, for joining.
See you
Talk
guys.
soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.